Okie dokie. And just to make sure, I want to make sure everyone can hear me as well. So if you could just give me a thumbs up or there, I can't. There you go. Okay, so at least a few people can hear me. That's good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And we're going to hope this works, folks. Like Veronica said, there was a momentary glitch. Um, so you should be seeing my screen with the Google Slides opened up. And I'm infamous for going back and forth between a slides deck and a live demo. So I'm just going to leave it like this so that you can see the entire slides deck and what's coming up, kind of, so I can go back and forth. And I am doing innovative collaboration tips and ideas for using Google Part 2. And Part 2 is a project focused. Last one that we did was more a collaborating focus. So we went over using existing, or how to use an email address as an existing, I'm so sorry. We went over how to use an email address, an existing email address, to create a Google account. The two types of Google, different share options, commenting versus suggesting, previewing, protecting sheets, using sites, and more. And if you want to see all of that, as with this video and resources, you can check it all out on the caladulted.org website. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and we're going to discuss what the heck are we going to be covering in Part 2. That's a really good question, and I couldn't think of anything, and I know Veronica right now is shuddering when I say that, but we went over a lot in the last session, so I was trying to think of something different, something new that we could cover that might be new to you as well. So I came up with this. We're going to go over some project ideas and how to actually put the ideas you might have into use, and show you how you can do it with each other in your consortia or with your students at your adult education site. So I'm going to be going in deep with slides, with docs, and with sheets, and we're going to be doing something different in each one of those. So some of this stuff you might have seen, but I guarantee you're going to learn something new in one of these sections, let's say. Okay, so the first section we're going to go over slides. And we're going to talk about page setup and layout. So a lot of people don't know that they can set the layout of a slides to be any size they want. So you can customize a page layout, and you can create any kind of a print style that you need for, let's say, a flyer or a brochure or a poster or a postcard. It's really, really easy and simple to do. And like I said before, I like diving in deep first, going back between actually presenting and showing you stuff. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. If you go to the File menu when you open up a slides deck, and you go way down where it says Page Setup, you click that, boom. This is the default. Widescreen 16:9, because we're all in HD land now. And this is the basic layout that you want when you're actually presenting and you're staying on your slides deck. You want it to be wide, you want it to be large, you want people to be able to see it, which is okay for presenting, but it's not really what you want for a print. So I'm going to click where it says widescreen. And standard 4:3, for you old schoolers, you will know that this is, or was, the standard that we used to use. We used to have the 800 by 600 screen when you were presenting, and you wanted to use the 4:3. Widescreen 16 by 10, that just gives you a little more of a nudge, wider, and I would stay away from it personally. This is what I want to show you right here as soon as my mouse moves. Here we go. Custom. So when we click that, you can see that a 16 by 9 is actually 10 by 5.62. We can change this to centimeters, points, or pixels, however you want, or however you do your measurement. But if we change this, think about this. If we change this to 11 by 8.5, or 8.5 by 11, if you changed it to 24 by 36, which is a poster layout. Or if you change it to, it's like a 5x4 something, a postcard layout, you can actually create postcards using a slides deck. I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to create anything new right now. I want you to see this. Once you have that layout made, everything you put on it will become that size. Let's do it for real. I'm going to go to slides.new. By the way, you just learned something new. Slides.new will open up a new slides ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Page Setup, just like I showed you. And we're going to come here, and I'm going to do Custom. And we're going to do an 8.5 by 11 page, which is, for those of you that don't know, it's going to be a portrait layout instead of a landscape. So I'm going to apply, and you can see right off the bat, this screen is 8.5 by 11. So it's long. It's a page of paper. Think about that. It could be a flyer. Okay, or it could be maybe a book, the start of a book, because each slide, instead of thinking of the word slide, think of the word page. So each new page that you would create would be a page in the book. And then when you print it, you print front to back, boom, you got a book. What a great idea for your students. They could create their own book about me. Or if you have flyers that you want to create in different languages, because Google was really good about translating, you could put your text on one page and then have it translated on the next page. And then you print those out and put them up all over your school, or you hand them out, or you mail them out, whatever you want to do with them. So that's one way of using the page setup. Something else that you can do is on the layout. You add grid lines, and this will help you actually put everything in the right place. Okay, so grid lines can be added two ways. If you're familiar with PowerPoint, you know you have a master slide. So I'm going to go to View. You have it in Google too. We're going to go to View, Master. I'm going to go over to the ruler. I'm going to click, hold, and drag from the ruler. And you see that red line coming across? You might not see it because you're remote. You're on the Adobe. But I'm going to let go, and that went approximately in the center. I didn't put it exactly in the center because I'm doing this really fast. So I can drag lines down exactly where I think my print is going to be, okay? And then when I go back to my slides, they all have these grid lines right there on it. So when I create a new slide, my grid lines are still there, so that I can make each page the same, or have the pictures or the margin or whatever I want exactly in the same spot. You can also drag from your ruler just on the page itself, and you can add grid lines that way. And something that I learned this morning, it used to be that as you added grid lines this way, actually on a slide, not on the master, when you went to a new slide, they would disappear. But yay, Google, changes on the fly. My red lines are still here, okay? But the lines that I added on my second page are also here on my first page. So if you already knew this, you probably don't know, or if you already knew about grid lines, you probably don't know that the grid lines now, when you add them on one sheet or one slide or one piece of paper, however you want to think about it, it's going to add it across the board through the entire presentation. If you don't want them anymore, just drag them off. No big. You can drag them off. The master slides you won't be able to drag off until you go to the master slide view. Okay, so here we go. If you're interested in making brochures, the rule of Michael Pierce is a multimedia design specialist here at OTAN, and he told me that whatever the outer margins are, you have to make the inner margins twice the width. So the next slide right here, well, it's not actually the next slide. The other slide was just everything that this is everything that I just said. So I'm going to skip that. But here's the inside of a brochure. It was really quick and easy to set up. I did this morning. Some of the text is the lorem ipsum diddly squat, and some of it is actually telling you about this layout. So a brochure can be any size you want. Most trifold brochures are 8.5 by 11, and actually I should say 11 by 8.5, and you would fold it in thirds, right? So you have to figure out how much space goes from here to here. Now I left the lines for the text boxes so that you could see where they are located. But what I did on a master slide to create a brochure for TAP is I pulled grid lines over. Here's 0.25, okay? And there my grid lines are all back. So it remembered what my grid lines were when I first set it up. And then as soon as I drag that one grid line over, boom, they're all there. So I don't have to redo this. But just to go over this for you, this is 0.25 from the left. This way over here on the right is 0.25. So the middle trifold, when you fold things, remember whatever's on the outside edge, 0.25, you have to have at least twice that for the trifold. So right here, this is 1/2 inch and this is 1/2 inch. Now imagine trying to figure that out for every slide. You don't have to, because once you put the grid lines in, they are there for your next sheet of paper. Okay, so this would maybe be the inside of a brochure. Then I would print or make up the outside of the brochure. Then I would download that as a PDF and send it to my print shop. And here are the steps. So they're included in the instructions. And you download it as PDF. An optional thing to do is right here is create, number 5, is create an instruction sheet for your print shop. Now some of you are thinking, okay, yeah, this is great. Well, what do I need this for? Well, you're saving money, folks. This is free. Is it the best layout type of program in the world? It's not the best. No, there's lots of, there's Illustrator, there's whatever the other Adobe products are. I can't think of them right offhand. But there's lots of different layout programs that you can create a brochure with. But this is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you get your students interested in print, it's actually kind of a lucrative business, actually, to be able to do the layout and the printing. So I'm going to come back into the room real quick and ask if there's any questions as soon as I can figure out how to do this. There we go. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm sorry, I sound a little flustered because I am. It took me about 10 minutes to get in this room, and it was right at the end. So if anybody has any questions, if everyone's good, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, don't see any questions. I'm going to go, whoops. See, already it's starting to muck up a little bit. Come on, share my screen. There we go. All right, so we're back here. No questions. Another idea for your students would be to create something similar on the flashcard level. So you can, again, set the page setup to where the screen size is smaller than what I have here. I'm not actually going to do this one, but you have flashcards for them. So does anybody know what this is? Come on, there's a few of you out there. Come on, what is it? If you've attended any of my workshops, you know what this is. Nobody's typing? Really? This is a waffle or an apps launch. This is a more button or a drop down arrow. So again, just an idea for some flashcards. Something else that you could do, add or create interactive study guides. I just did some workshops on actually how to create slides and use Draw. And this kind of looks like a page out of a book, doesn't it? These do nothing. These little text boxes here, they do absolutely nothing, but this one does. Do you see how it's a different color? And if I was actually on the page, let me go ahead and hit present. Here we go. So I can show you. This is really big when it appears for the students. And I can hit customize page layout because that's the page I want them to go to. Boom, there it is. And here's what I want them to see. And to return, they hit the little button because I've told them before what the little button does. And they come back. I get to determine when they get to the pages. So I can make this page come up and they can return. This page isn't ready yet. Oops, it actually went to the next slide. This page isn't ready yet. That's why it doesn't have a link. So you get to control exactly how much your students will see. And if Google changes, which it does all the time, but if something changes or you want to add something to a page, you could update this, and your students, as they're going through the book, I'm going to call it, they would get that updated page. What this is doing is actually linking through this slides deck. Now, I took these pages out of another slides deck to put it in this one to show you the model, but there's all of these pages actually do exist, and within that book, each one of those links goes to a different page. I hope that makes sense. So instead of just thinking about a program or a classroom, you could also have something set up like this for maybe professional development for your teachers, or to go through step by step exactly what they need to go through or what's required as far as reporting is concerned. I know some of you are concerned with reporting, the NOVA and all the other stuff that you have to do. So you could have all of this here in a slides deck. Do you have to share the slides deck in order to give it to people? Well, you do kind of, but you do it in a different way. And we did cover that on the session 1, I'm going to call it. I'll show you real quick. So what we did was you hit the share button and you get the shareable link. You copy that link and then you're done. Okay, so that link just allows people to view, and I haven't given it to anybody yet, so they can't view it, right? So I'm going to go and I'm going to just show you what I would do if I opened an email. Okay, I'm going to basically insert a blank in here so I can show you the voodoo to do. Okay, so pretend this is an email, and I paste the link in the email, and I say, hey, Neil, here's the slides deck that explains exactly what to do when you're sharing something. And what I do with this link is I take out the last part of it where it starts with edit. So I take out the word edit and everything else to the right, and I type in the word preview. And I send that link to whoever I wish. And what happens when they open the link is that it looks like this. There's no way for them to copy. There's the links will be live. So this is the entire slides deck. What I'm doing is I'm getting to that page that has, here we go. So here's the page, the table of contents, right, bit by bit, so they can click through and see exactly what you want them to see, but they have no control over the page itself. They can't change the page, they can't add anything to it, they can't take anything away from it, and if you do this the right way, they won't be able to copy it. So view that first video of this collaborating tips for consortia. View that first video, and that is covered there. I think I also have a slide later on that also shows you how. One other thing that you can do as far as interacting with students or just showing people something is to have a video guide. So you have a video within the slides, and I know I've got all these lines, it's a little confusing, but you have the video and then you have questions. So let me show you how that actually looks. Whoops, hit the wrong button. Let me show you how that actually looks. Here we are. So what I did was, because I created this slide, I went to YouTube and I found a video on how to write paragraphs for the GED. Okay, and I want them to answer these specific questions. How many ideas are needed, and how do you decide which ideas to use? This video is about 15 minutes long. I don't want them to waste the time. I want them to answer the questions soon. Okay, maybe I've got a form off to the side where they're going to answer the questions, but I want them to get to the information quickly. So to do that, what you can do when you're creating slides is you click on the video itself, and then there's this magic button right here called Format Options. When you click it, you are given some options that include video playback. When you select video playback, you can set the video to start at a certain time and end at a certain time. You can also play it while it's in this little subsection here. And I know you can't hear that, but she was talking. So if I wanted to change the start and end time, I could do that. I could select autoplay when presenting. So as soon as the slide comes up, boom, it's ready to rock and roll. Or maybe I just want them to see something on the movie or the video. I don't want them to hear anything. I could mute the audio. So a lot of ideas here on how to create an interactive slides deck. Here's the preview recap, because I know some people are going to want to see that without going back to that first video, and that's okay. I'm going to come back into the room and see if there's any questions so far, because we're about to go into docs. So if you don't have any questions on slide, are we good? Everybody's good? You're all eating lunch, aren't you? You're just listening to me. Oh, I have somebody. Page is good. Okay. Inland assistant is typing. Are you going to go over Google Drawing? Oh my goodness. You really want, I tell you what, if there's time at the end, I will show you some Google Draw stuff. Okay, so far so good, Patty. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Yeah, Google Draw is a very powerful tool. And most of the drawings that you're seeing here in this this presentation, and there aren't that many really, but most of them I've created. So I don't have to worry about copyright issue. Woohoo! Screenshots, however, are our screenshots. All right, I did not create this one. So document outline. A lot of people don't know about this in Docs, and it's really, really a cool feature. It will help you out so much if you've got a really long document, or maybe minutes of a very long meeting, or the bylaws and subsections of blah blah blah. The online, or the outline of the online document will help you immensely. So I'm going to open this test up, and as soon as you see it, you should recognize the text there. We, the people of the United States. So I copied part of, not the entire thing, but part of the Constitution. So as we scroll down here, if I wanted you to go to Article 3, you can do a search for it, okay? And you probably scrolled past it. Oh gosh, I'm already at Article 7. Okay, I got to go back up. I got to go down. Blah. Don't do that. Go to View and Show Document Outline. This will appear to the right. And everything that has been bolded, and that it's basically its own line, so it's using a heading, it will become a link. And when you click on it, it goes right to it. So there's Article 2, here's Article 3, and if I want to go back to the top, Article 1, well, that doesn't quite get me there though, does it? Doesn't quite get me there. So what I did was I created a bookmark. This right here, it's really tiny. Let's see if I can make it bigger. La, 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 la. Boom. Wow. How many of you just had to back away from your screens? Okay, so right here, TOC top. So a bookmark area on a document actually creates a link, and then you can tell it where to go. Okay, I'm going to go back to normal view. We're going to go back to 100%. And way up at the top, you see this right here? This is a bookmark. So what I did was I inserted my mouse, my cursor, right here. Okay, and then I went to insert, and because I already have one there, it's not going to let me do it again, but I went to bookmark. Okay, so that after that, I created a link. Okay, TOC top. And to create a link, it's really easy. You select some text, and then you go to the link tool. And it will ask me, because I've created some bookmarks, hey, do you want to use a bookmark? Or do you want to go to a web page? Or what do you want to do? Okay, so I've created a bookmark, and here's the bookmark I created right at We the People. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and apply. And there's my bookmark, so that when I click on it, it goes right where I want it to. So I could have a bookmark here for section 9. Or I could have a bookmark in section 2. Now TOC top, right, this bookmark right here is in the footer, so it's going to appear on every page. So I can always get back up to the top. Make sense? It's really cool idea. Also on the sections, what Google does is it goes, okay, it's bold and it's got its own line, so it must be important. So we're going to put it on the outline. If it's important, it must be on the outline. Well, maybe it's not important to you. You can remove it. Now I've just removed section 1 of article 2, but it's still bold and it's still there. I didn't delete the text. I just deleted its importance from the outline. So I'm going to delete all the sections out of article 1 so that when I hit article 2, it will go there. But I'm going to have to scroll up now to see article or the sections 1 through 10 on article 1. Wow, that was a mouthful. All right, so again, all of these are links. I can go right to them. By the way, our founding fathers made a lot of spelling errors. I don't know if anybody knows that. I discovered that. I can go to any of these articles, any of these amendments, or I can remove them from the outline. Once you open the outline and you don't want to, let's say you're done, you don't want to see it anymore, you can actually turn it off, and that saves you some real estate if you're on a very small device. So very cool thing to use in order to maneuver or navigate through a very long document is go to View, Document Outline. Okay, I believe the next slide is going to click about something else. It's pretty cool. Let's just make sure. Yes, document links. Okay, so we've already talked about the bookmark. Another navigation tool is the link tool. So I can go back here and I can select any text and I can make it a link to go anywhere or to open anything. So I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. I can let it go anywhere. We're all used to that. It goes to a different website, right? Or it can go to anything. I could have it go to, see all of these headings? Okay, so I can have it go right to this Article 5, Amendment 5 if, let's say, the text I selected was about ensuring the domestic tranquility, and Article 5 has to do with that, so I make it a link. You can do it that way. Or, let's go back up here, go to the link tool. You can also go to your bookmarks. I've already shown you that. You can paste a link, okay, that goes anywhere. www. Let's go to www.caladulted.org, which has nothing to do with Article 1, but I'm the one creating the link, so I can have it go anywhere I want. Haha. Okay? So you can have it go to a link. You can change it or you can remove it at any time because you're the owner, you're the one creating it. You can also have links go to, I'm going to scroll down here, your drive. So if I have anything in my drive, I'm looking way to the right now, anything in my drive that I want to link to, I can add that, I can link to another document, I should say. So let's think about that for a sec. Let's say I'm creating a book and I have chapter 1 all on its own, chapter 2 all on its own, chapter 3 all on its own. I create a table of contents all on its own. And then in that table of contents, instead of using outline view, I would have the table of contents with chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 as the text. So let's say this section 1 is actually chapter 1 with a little description of chapter 1. And then I have it go to that document when I link it. So you can link your documents to your documents. You can basically daisy chain them, for lack of a better description. You can also link to images. Now, this is an online document, okay? And Google is trying to help me. So it recognizes that we have the Constitution here. Most of the text is going to be related to the Constitution of the United States. Google knows that, and I know that's freaking some people out right now. Embrace it. It's going to help you. Okay, so embrace the love from the app that you have open online. If you're in the least bit antsy about putting anything online regarding your own personal information, I applaud you for that. Be antsy about it and don't do it. Okay, this is the Constitution of the United States, or this is a lesson plan, or these are the guidelines of the consortia, whatever. I don't care who knows about it. It's okay. It doesn't have my social security number in it. It doesn't have my bank card number on it. So it's okay. So it's okay that Google's trying to help me. So one of these images I could certainly insert if I wanted to. If I go to web, I'm going to click on web here, I also get a bunch of different websites that I could get some research from without even leaving my document. So if I'm doing a lot of research for my consortia and I'm doing it on a doc, I can open up, and I did it a different way, but I can open up the Explore tool and do my research. So I'm going to just put my mouse somewhere in here. I'm going to go to Tools, and here's the Explore tool right here. It's also, I'm going to make my window a little smaller so it drags up some. There we go. It's also down here. Okay, way down at the bottom, the Explore tool is right there for you. So I can open it either way. Okay, and then I can search. So I can search for anything. Google is a search engine, and Docs is part of Google, so they work really well together. Let's do some adult education in CA. Let's see what we come up with. So the California Department of Education. There we go. So any one of these I could click on, and it's going to open up in a new window. Okay, it opens up in a new window or new tab. So I still have my document open. Okay, if I read the article or the website or whatever, and I want to cite it, I can select the text that I want to use as my cite, C-I-T-E. Okay, I'm going to hover over the web link, and you'll see I'll have a little quotation mark show up. So that cite is footnote. I'm going to click it. And it doesn't really look like anything happened over here, but if you look where my cursor's at, it's got a little number 1. And if I scroll down this document, right there, right here, right here is the footnote, cde.ca.gov. Okay, it also tells me when I last accessed it, which was today. And you can also see that I already had a footnote listed, and it actually went to the document that I found online because I wanted to be able to cite it for you so you knew where it came from. And because I entered my footnote above that first footnote, it became number 2. Does that make sense? So number 2 is down here somewhere. Okay? It used to be number 1 until I added a footnote. Why am I telling you all of this? Oh, here it is, number 2, right here. All right, so I added that one yesterday. And this one we just added. This was number 1. And I know it's in the wrong place. I apologize to all the grammar and our English teachers in the room, but that's just where my mouse landed. So this is in, I'm sorry, footnote 1. This is the second one I put in, but because it is first, it comes up as number 1. So if I take this one out at any time, there we go. This becomes number 1 now. And let me undo that. This is really important because this, in the old days, would have saved me gallons of whiteout. There might be a few of you in the room that know what whiteout is. If you have footnotes that are, let's say you have 30, 40, 50 footnotes in a document, and you decide number 39 is no good any longer, or you want to take it out, you had to go in and white out all of the numbers, right? And then renumber them, and probably end up retyping it because it made a mess. With the docs, all you have to do is delete the footnote, and you can delete the number from the text, which is what I just did, or you can go down to where the footnote appears and you can delete the citation. Sorry folks, my mouse is acting up here really badly. There we go. So you can delete the citation, and the footnote will disappear when the mouse is working correctly. I'm having all kinds of tech issues. All right, so links and bookmarks, we've gone over that within Docs. What else can you do in a document? We've already done the Explore tool. Really cool tool. You can go in and do research without actually losing anything. Some other document ideas. You can turn off Convert to Google, and I don't always recommend that. As a matter of fact, I'm a firm believer against doing that. However, if you go to Drive and turn off Convert, then you can share documents and edit documents as Word documents. Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about. We're actually going to go to Drive. Drive.google.com. And within Settings, this is the Settings gear right here. Looks like a little gear. I'm going to click that. And it's redundant, but you have to click Settings again. Okay. This is the magic box right here, Convert Uploaded Files to Google Docs Editor. You want to keep that on to save yourself space, because everything that you upload to your Google Drive, if it's being converted, it's 0 space. It's good to go. As long as it's a Google, or as long as it's a document, text file basically, or a presentation file, or an Excel type file. PDFs, they're going to be the same size. Videos are going to be the same size. Images are going to be the same size. So those don't convert, but the text editors do. If you turn this off and you hit Done, when you upload a Microsoft document into your Google Drive, then it stays a Microsoft Word document. So that when you have those people in your organization or part of your consortia that they don't want to use the Google, they have no use for the Google, smack, but you want them to be able to share a document. You want them to be able to edit a document. You want them to be able to view the document. You upload it as a Microsoft Word, and what you do is you install this handy little tool called Office Editing for Docs, Sheets, and Slides. And I'm hovering my cursor over it. I'm not going to be able to scroll in for you to see it. It's a little circle with a pencil in the middle. So if you go to the Chrome extensions, you can install that. Okay? And that way when you actually open a Word doc, you are editing it in Word without having Word installed. Or you are editing a PowerPoint without having PowerPoint installed, or an Excel spreadsheet without having Excel installed. Okay, so go ahead and upload or save those documents that someone has sent you as a Word file, and they've warned you, don't make this a Google Doc. Fine, I'm going to keep it a Word file, but I'm still going to be able to edit it because I have this Chrome extension right here. You can also, and you should, convert files to PDF that compresses them, that makes them smaller, and then you can send them through email. 9 times out of 10, a Word doc or a Google Doc will not send through email that well because the receiving side will detect that Word file, and Word files are notorious for containing links that are not good. Okay, we've all experienced that in the past. So what you do is you convert the files to PDF. Well, how do you do that, Melinda? You go to File and Download As. You can do this in Word. You can do this in PowerPoint. It doesn't matter. You won't get the option to convert a Word, or I'm sorry, you won't get the option to convert a doc into a PowerPoint. By the same token, you won't get the option to convert a PowerPoint into a Word file. You don't see that here, right? But you can convert both of them into a PDF. And when you do that, again, it compresses it and it will make it more palatable for the receiving end or of the email server that you're sending this document to. You could send a meeting agenda. Using this Office Editing Chrome extension, it doesn't matter whether it's Chrome or whether it's Drive or whether it's Microsoft. You could send that meeting agenda out to anybody. They could see it, and maybe on the second page, or you have a table where you assign everybody a number. You can write on row 1, you can write on row 2, Bill can write on row 3, whatever. But then they can input their ideas for the agenda. So you get everybody's input that way, and you're collaborating that way. So those are some other document ideas. And we're going to stop real quick to see if, and it looks like we have a question. Hang on just a sec. The British, okay, I don't understand. It was the British English that messed up their spell. Oh, you're talking about when I said the Founding Fathers. Yes, Jody. The British. God love the British, yeah? All right. All right, then how do I close this? Like that. Okay. So it doesn't look like there's any questions, so I'm not going to stop sharing. We're going to go right into Sheets. Now, I just helped somebody recently, and I can't remember what adult school they were with, but they were trying to, well, I'll go over this in a sec. I want to go over, here it is, some cool functions here. Oh, no, it wasn't that either. Oh, the slide is gone. Darn. All right, I'm going to have to update that. What she wanted to do was protect ranges, and we actually went over this in the first Google that I did. So I want to show you, pivot, here we go, and I'll just open this one because I'm going to be showing it to you later anyway. So what the person wanted to do, she's from a consortia school, and she wanted her teachers to be able to input on certain cells. Okay, so she wanted to protect part of the spreadsheet, but not all of it. She wanted the capability, let's say right here, the funding. She didn't want anybody to touch the funding column, okay? But they could enter scores. Well, how do you do that? Well, first, you have to protect it, okay? So what you're doing is you're actually protecting the sheet, and then you're unprotecting this right here, the column. And you can actually protect specific cells. You can give John the rights to rows, let's see, C1 through C6. You could give Susan rows C7 through 15. Okay, she's an overachiever, she gets more cells, and so on. So you can take, what you do is you protect the pool, okay, and then you take, oh no, I'm trying to use a pool metaphor here and it's not really working for me. You have to protect, you don't protect the sheet, you protect the cells. There we go. So you're taking people out of the pool instead of putting people into the pool. This is in the first video. Okay, you're going to have to trust me. I explained it a lot better there. But you can protect specific cells within the sheet. You can protect specific ranges. You can protect entire sheets. Okay, there's that right there. Okay, lots of different stuff you can do on protection. You can also, this is one of the next slides, you can use the pivot table within the sheet. So right here we have student data, okay, and we have a lot of student data. And let's say I want the account of all of the sophomores, the freshmen, the juniors, and the seniors. I could go through and count each one of these, or I could create an if statement. If C1 through C61 equals senior, count 1. If not, then you have to add another if statement so that it will do it in a running order. So if it's senior, if it's junior, if it's freshman, if it's sophomore, and if none of those, then 0. It's a really complicated process, and you have to have it, you'd have to have a cell dedicated to senior, freshman, junior, right? It's complicated, but if you have a pivot table, you can tell it, I want this range and I want you to count. And there it is. So we have 18 freshmen, 10 sophomores, 11 juniors, and 11 seniors. And it's real-time data. So if I change one of these to something different. Let's see, I'm gonna copy this sophomore here and I'm gonna put him down here. Boom. So we had 11 seniors. I believe it was 11. Now it's 10. And it's just that quick. So as the people are changing the data, or as data is being input into a form, let's say, your pivot table will also be changing. And you want to do this for really great big bits of data. You don't want to do it for like maybe 5 rows. It's actually harder if there's less data. So pivot tables is a really cool function. This will be how you spend your summer. Yay! Okay, pivot tables is a really cool function on sheets, and if that's what you're referring to. Something else that you can do, let me make sure I'm on the right. You can reuse forms. So I'm going to open up a form real quick because I have it linked. Here's the form, and I use this for all my trainings. Everyone signs in. They sign in with their name, their email address, where they work, okay? And if you look down at the bottom here, you can see the last place I went was Mount Diablo, okay? The time before that was here in Sacramento, HCCTS. Before that was Hodgepodge. Actually, we had a bunch of people, and I was at Monrovia. See, we had Monrovia, Azusa, Azusa. Oh, this was a part of the USA Consortia. That was a consortia event. Mount Diablo again. So you see, all of these sheets are within this sheet. All this data came from one form. This form right here. So I use it over and over and over again. I don't have 50 forms for every workshop that I do. What I do is after people input, after people use the form, I will go here and I will unlink the form. And what that does is that takes away the handshake. Okay, that takes away the connection between the form and the sheet. Okay, and that's okay. You have to embrace that. After you do that, what you do is you delete all of the responses from the form. Okay, it's okay. When that comes up, just say okay. And I know I'm saying cancel now because I've already done it. There's nothing to erase. You see, there's no responses here. There's nothing that's been answered. It says 0. So I've already done it. Okay, I unlinked it, and then I deleted all the responses. The next thing you do is the important part. You relink the form. You relink the form. So when you relink it, and here I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and unlink it. You get the big scary message, just ignore it and say unlink. Okay, and then you'll get this message down at the bottom here. It says spreadsheet unlinked. Now we're going to go back to that More button, and we're going to select a response destination. And I'm not going to create a new spreadsheet. I'm going to select an existing spreadsheet. I have to know what the spreadsheet's name is. Fortunately, it's named the same thing as my form, Sign In 2019, and I'm going to hit select. What happened right then is that it created a new sheet within the spreadsheet. So here's Form Response 8, has no data in it. So my next workshop will be in LA. I will use this form. I'll change the name to LA. Boom. And then I'll unlink, delete, and relink. Just what I just said. Okay? So that I can use the form over and over again. So this is something you could think about maybe for attendance. You could, if you're having a conference, you could, and you're having, or maybe multiple PDs, and you want people to sign in, you could use a form to do that, and you use the same spreadsheet over and over and over again. So you're saving your data, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You can also password protect a form. It's really simple to do. All you have to do is have a question that goes somewhere. Hang on just a sec. There we go. So right here, enter the password for the groupers quiz. So this is where they would enter the password that I give the students. If they don't type it correctly, they don't get to continue. That is how you password protect a form. Right here, this short answer text, I make it required. Okay. I also click the More button over here, and I choose response validation. From response validation, this menu will appear. I choose regular expression matches this word, OTAN 1. I could change it right now to OTAN 4. In the next class that comes up, if they type OTAN 1, they're not going to be able to get to the next section. They have to type OTAN 4. And if they don't, they're going to get this message. Nope. Did you type all lowercase? Question mark. Okay, I can make that message anything I want. So I'm going to change this back to 1 because otherwise I'm going to get confused in my next workshop. So that's how you can password protect a form. So if anybody ever tells you, well, you can't password protect it, yes, you can. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And we're going to go back to our slides deck. So we already went over the pivot table. Okay, some cool functions here. So also what I wanted you to see is something like this. So I have a bunch of sites here, and there might be duplicates. There might be duplicate information. Maybe somebody's entering the info and it's from paper, and they might have grabbed the same stack at the same time and entered the data. I don't know. I'm just making this up. What Google now has is a remove duplicate section. So if you click this link, it will take out all of the duplicates. And you can also tell it, okay, I want you to take out the duplicate, hang on just a sec, the range of cells, because I selected cells, or it will ask you which column do you want to remove the duplicates from. Lots of info there to get rid of. Something else I wanted to show you, and I'm running out of time. I always run out of time. The split. So I'm selecting this column. How many times have we gotten a spreadsheet and it's got data in it and we want it to be split? We want the first name and the last name. We don't want just name, right? So what you do is you go here, you go to data, and you use the magic one, split text to columns. And it's asking me, what do you want me to split it on? The comma, the semicolon, the period, the space, maybe custom. Maybe I have a slash or a web address and I want to get rid of the www dot. I could add that. And then it would just leave me with boom, whatever's to the right. So I'm going to add space. And there we go. Now my names are in first and last name order. Now John Quincy, he's got his middle name in there, so I've got some tweaking to do. Okay, but this is a really cool function. I use this all the time. Now, someone asked about Draw. That was basically the last slide. Draw is a very, very powerful tool. I'm going to add a blank here so that you can see some of what you can do. These shapes right here, there's a bunch of shapes that you can use to draw your own stuff. And all the shapes that you have, you can type in tongues. And as you move the shape, the text comes with it. I'm going to open up something that I created a while back, and I've been working on it as I need to. This is my images file. So this is also something you could use with your consortium. You just create a slides deck full of images. Every one of these images that I'm showing you right now, I have created. This belongs to me. I created it. This calendar looks very Google-ish, doesn't it? But I created this. So I don't have to ask anybody permission to use their graphics. I have them. I've made them myself. This is this little book right here. I created those books. Those are mine. So, and it's really kind of easy to do. It's actually really cool too. It's kind of fun to do. I've learned to use the curve. So I'm just clicking, click, 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 and then it attaches itself, right? But when I double click on it, each click created a little dot, and now I can morph it into anything that I want. So this right here, you see all those little dots right there? I can make this. I'm not going to do it to this one because I don't want to screw it up. I'm going to copy and paste. There we go. So I could make this handle right here come in a little bit, and then we have a different handle. Okay, this image belongs to me. So the power of Draw is really, really cool. I also, just for my own sanity, because sometimes looking at these little shapes, especially on a small laptop, it's kind of hard to figure out what you can do or which shape it is. Is this the square or is that the square? So what I did was I created a slides that has each one of the shapes, and then when I see the gold handles, then I go, oh yeah, that's the one I can do this with. Okay, I'm going to undo that. So whenever you see gold handles, they become, you can do something with it. So try it out. It's really cool. OTAN has a workshop on slides and draw. We just finished one in Mount Diablo. There might be some people in here that did it. And hopefully we'll get to go back and show them some more. So the more you practice with it, now this is a Microsoft image. Okay, it's a clip art that I copied. Here's my image over here. Not too bad, huh? So, and I've been practicing. I'll give you that. And I've done a lot of stuff. I'm scrolling through here. I had somebody ask me if I could make some tools. Sure, I'll try it out. So here's a hammer. And another great thing about the images is that when you create your own, you can actually recolor them, and you can also make them different sizes. So I can take this hammer and I can make the entire thing a different size, just like that, if I needed a smaller one. So that's Draw in a nutshell. And I'm going to stop sharing, or I'm going to pause and annotate here so we can go, because I know I'm out of time. It is amazing, isn't it cool? Yay! And I'm so sorry, folks. We got started just a little bit late, and I was a little bit harried because of all the tech problems I was having. Apologies for the start, but I think we ended on a good note. If you have any questions whatsoever about what I've shown you here, or if you're having any problems, like, gosh, you know, she showed us that protect range thing, but I can't remember, you can watch the video, or you can call me. Just contact support@otan.us, or even better, go through caladulted.org and submit a request through TAP. Veronica will yell at me. She's right over the wall. And I will get your question that way. So either way, you're going to get a hold of me and I'll help you out. Okay? That's about, would you be able to share your Google Slides again? Pretty please. Which Google Slides Inland Assistant. I'm not sure which, and if you're asking for that handout with all my images, heck no. Oh, that's wow. You can make your own. Yes, the collaborating tips for consortia. It's a PDF right now. I tell you what, if anybody wants the actual slides deck, if you type your email address in this chat right now, I will share that with you. You'll have view rights so that you can create your own copy instead of having the PDF. So if you type your email address in right now, I will send that to each one of you, and make sure you get the slides deck, not just the PDF. But the PDF is pretty cool, and all the links inside of it will work. But I understand you wanting the slides deck. Wow, everybody wants it. Okay. Culimundo. Thank you, Paige. And if that's the page that I think it is, shame on you for missing the last workshop. All right. All right, folks. Thank you so much. I appreciate your patience. And I will be sending that slides deck to everybody. Veronica, I'm going to let it out. I'm going to go bang my head against the desk. Veronica, are you there?
Oh, here I am.
Okay.
Sorry,
good.
I was still on mute, but speaking. Thank you all so much for your participation this afternoon. I hope you all found this webinar to be of value in your collaboration efforts within your consortium or even at your agency. As I mentioned in the chat pod, if you are interested in receiving this type of workshop at your site, an in-person hands-on interactive workshop, please be sure to submit a support request. Or if you think that another webinar such as this would be of value to the adult education field, please be sure to let us know as well so that we could start planning around that. We are here to make sure that we are providing the types of workshops and resources that will be of value to you within your consortium and at your agency. I am about to close the webinar, and when I do, the evaluation will appear. And again, that's an opportunity for you to express what it is that you're looking for so that we're able to successfully meet your needs. In addition, I am posting the URL of exactly where the PowerPoint as well, or the PDF that Melinda has provided, as well as the webinar recording will be located. So if you would like to share this with others, or if you want to go back for a recap, it will be available for you. So I'm posting that URL here. And again, thank you all so much for your participation and your attention this afternoon. Have a great afternoon.